welcome back to another episode. Today we have Jasmin Cadavid. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up?
Pumped to have you on. If you can, start our audience off with just a little bit more about you and what you do.
Well, my name is Jasmin Cadavid. I am a singer. I'm a model. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm multifaceted. I am also a mother. I'm the owner of Jazzy Rolling Papers and the Jazzy CBD. I was the first female in, hip hop culture, definitely first model at that time who came out with her first cannabis strain. I had Jazzy Kush, and I collabed with Corrupt and Dr. Zodiac and came out with Banana Moon Rocks. So I was the first girl who had that. Wiz was the first, hip hop rapper influencer with the strain. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the CBD thing. So now I've been sticking with the CBD lines and yeah.
Nice. All right. So let's first talk about the weed stuff. And then I want to talk about when you were younger and how you got to where you are. But this is for my personal use. So I'm curious. I've been trying to find like a good like weed or CBD, whatever it is, that will consistently like chill, like a good weed that'll like chill me out. And the reason I ask this is because I get all different types, right? And sometimes I get this weed that like, I think it's sativa or something, and it actually will give me like anxiety or like paranoia. But then there's like some weed that like is perfect. So do you have any feedback on that? I'm curious, like what would you recommend? Okay.
So, well, the classes are identified into like 3. So they usually say sativa, hybrid, or indica. And most of the time they say that sativas, uplift you and they, instead of putting you down and, making you relax and go to sleep, sativa is more like an uppity, like you'll be high, but like you're more going. They say that indicas in the couch is how you put the 2 together. Indigos are more for sleeping, relaxing, and coming down. And then the hybrids, cookies, cookies is mainly a hybrid. It's a sativa indica blended together. I just feel like I get higher with indicas and hybrids. I tried, sativas because throughout the day I'm smoking. And so I was like, well, sativas, if I want to be uppity and I don't want to be like dumb high, I'll smoke the sativas. And I tried it, but to me, like it was the same. I'm just getting high. So, I did my research, and really what people need to look into is the terpenes. So it really doesn't even matter if it's sativa or indica, it's the terpenes that are in the specific strand that you're going to purchase. So if you want to look for something that's going to help with anxiety, do some research in the terpenes of the strain that you're going to buy, and ask if you're at a dispensary. You can ask them, say, hey, what terpenes would you recommend? I'm dealing with anxiety, or at nighttime I want to wind down. And they should be educated. The bud tenders should be educated enough to tell you, oh, well, this terpene is good for this.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Cause I don't have any issues with like being like up and awake and all that. What I need is the nightcap, like put me out. So, okay. Got it. That makes sense. So I know that you were born in Miami area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you were younger, I always kind of like to start here is when you were younger, did you see yourself at all where you are now? Or did you have like a completely different picture?
Well, yeah, I definitely didn't see myself where I am right now. Like I never imagined that I would be like, Jasmin Cadavid, Jazzy, like in the cannabis culture like this. I never imagined that I would dive that deep into modeling and go that far with my modeling career. Music and entertainment, I kind of always knew that I was an entertainer. I was always, since a little kid, I was always like putting on shows and like, singing songs for my family at family events. And I was always like, into sports. I was always, the star and trying to like just be the best. So I knew that, like, I knew I was going to be somebody. I knew that I was like, I had the like entertainment in me because I liked it. I just didn't know, definitely didn't know that like, this is where I would be.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense. So when you were younger, I guess, what were the what was like the pivotal moment, right? So it's like, so you always knew, but then like obviously everybody goes through ups and downs, but then you probably hit a point where you were like, okay, I'm going down this direction. So like, was it music first or was it modeling first? Like, what was the first thing that?
The first thing for the start of my career was modeling. And
Okay.
well, before the modeling, I kept getting, different things into music. So I would have people around me. I would sing at church. I would be like, the soloist and show choir. I would have like the main lead acting position in plays and stuff at school. But then even after school, like I would have different people that would come in and out of my life that just always believed in me and would, send me to vocal classes or like get me some equipment to try to keep me, chasing my dreams. Um, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But you know, then you end up, having to just try to figure it out because you're on your own, and you gotta, just get a job and try to get by and like eat, So you're not
Mhm.
thinking about like singing. You're thinking about how am I gonna, get by? Like how am I gonna be able to like whatever get a car? So the modeling thing kind of just came on my lap. Like I took a photo shoot. Um, and I always say it was MJ Flicks, but it might have been like even with my mom because my mom was getting into photography. So I did like a photo shoot in the beach, and like my first photo shoot I did, it kind of just took off. And at that time, social media, it wasn't, there was no like I think I mean, not even MySpace, Twitter had just started, like Instagram was like about to start. So like if you were a model on TV and you got booked for commercials, it was a big deal because you couldn't just go on the internet and see, pretty girls and, people on the TV.
Mhm.
So that was like my first thing. And once I started getting booked, I did like a lead role for Votto and Cameron video,
Mhm.
and that music video went pretty big. And then from that it was just like a domino effect. I just kept getting booked and booked and booked.
So did you have, and I'm just curious within these industries, because I feel like I work in the book industry, right? So we do like book publishing and book marketing. And a lot of times like artists, which I would classify in a sense, modeling is actually an art as well, right? So it's
Hmm.
just different types of art. A lot of times artists are not the best marketers. So they need somebody to like help like with that side. So leading up to that, the question is like, did you have like a manager or like, where you were like discovered, like how did you keep growing, meaning like because you were obviously doing the modeling, did you handle the business side or did you have somebody helping with that?
Yeah, I handled my whole career by myself.
Oh
I met
wow.
different managers along the way, but nothing was ever solid enough to really last. I worked with Dave True Story. Dave True Story, he brought up with Zoe Dollars out of Miami. He had carried a pretty big name to himself, and we had a great relationship. We just couldn't come to agreement, with contracts. And um, I'm very savvy and I'm very specific when it comes to my stuff. So I always had an attorney.
Mm.
Anytime that I had paperwork being presented to me, I always went through the paperwork with my attorney and made sure I understood what was going back and forth. And um, along the way, just different people come in and out of your life, and different people tell you, well, you're supposed to be like this, and artist has to have this image. You got to be like this. But me doing that and listening to other people, I wasn't really being true to myself and doing what I wanted to do. And I think that me being myself and doing what I wanted to do is what really took me off. So I'm back at that. I'm back in that square one, just doing what I want to do. I feel like the momentum is good. It's going up. But in the beginning of my career, I wasn't even thinking about like marketing or how to put myself out there. What I was doing was just constantly being consistent. Anytime somebody asked me to shoot, anytime I had an opportunity presented to me, I took it. I didn't sleep on any jobs that were offered to me. If it was just a little bit money, but it felt like it gave me more exposure, I would take it. And to me, that was the best marketing plan and strategy that there is, because I'm working with this person, now I'm tapping into their fans. Then I work with this company and now I'm tapping into their fans over there on the West Coast. So that kind of made my marketing. I didn't have anybody help me, and I didn't like, have a PR or
Yeah.
anything.
So it's kind of like two things, it seems to me. So, and I think this is a big point because I think a lot of people that like would want to be maybe in the music industry, let's say, it's like you have to know someone or something like that. But I think the two things you just said there, if I extracted it correctly, is you took every opportunity kind of that was presented to you in the beginning, and also though is just being true to yourself. Like that's really what it was. So it wasn't because the more that you speak your truth out into the world, then it's just the people that are meant to stay in your life will, and the people that aren't won't, obviously. So just kind of cool to hear that it was kind of just perseverance, and then you kind of popped out on the other side. Now you said now you're square one again. So what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, artists and influencers and people that are public figures, you always have like different periods because your fans follow you. They see
Mm.
you at different times of your life. So, I went through a stage where I was in relationships, and then I went through a serious relationship. I had a child. I was in that relationship for like, I don't know, 3 years. And during those 3 years, first the relationship and the pregnancy, but I worked through the whole thing. I was doing radio interviews. I would just have them positioned, right here, basically like this. So
Yeah.
nobody ever saw anything. I kind of kept it under wraps. Nobody even knew. A lot of people still don't know.
Yeah.
But even like right before I got into that relationship, it was a period where I'm listening to all these people and me not being true to myself. I didn't release a lot of music or do the things that I really want to do because I'm trying to listen to different people to sign me here, sign me there. And so last year, July, I lost both of my sisters to domestic violence. And it kind of put like a fire burning inside of me,
Mm.
that put me in a position that I just don't care anymore. And now it's like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm back to, this is Jasmin Cadavid and what I want to do. I want to release a song. Boom, I'm going to release the song. I want to go here. I want to go there. This is the image I want to be. If I want to look this certain way, this is what I'm going to post. That's just what it is. And now I'm here, here, here. I'm back out of state. Book me to perform, book me for an interview, book me for a podcast, photo shoots, features. So
Yeah. It's interesting. It's yeah, I don't know what the I'm trying to actually work it out with you, like what the right type of way to say it is, because I think there's like a balance with like you don't care what anybody thinks, which gives you power to then not like have anxiety or be nervous. But then also on the other side is almost like a brand, right? And you don't ever want to like lie to like have a persona brand. But what I mean is like there are some things I guess you could do that could negatively affect your brand that you wouldn't want it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a balance. But at the same time, you never want to conflict with your truthfulness. And I think that's the most important. And we can skip over this if you'd like to, but I'm just like, so two, they're related to you, like your two sisters or like,
yeah,
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 yeah.
my
And
full blood, like, same mom, same dad. Mhm.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. And what, so, or I guess like they were, what happened ultimately or,
So my youngest sister, they're 19 and 20 years old. My youngest sister, ex-boyfriend, he basically, he went to my mom's house and he murdered them. After he murdered them, he went on the road, drove up about 5 hours, maybe in Jacksonville, where the police finally caught him and he killed himself.
wow.
Very big story out in Florida. I mean, it affected so many people across the world. My sisters, we did everything to try to prevent this tragedy. We had restraining orders against him. We filed so many police reports and they didn't do anything. They actually released him from jail because of COVID. Um,
Oh, wow.
and 2 weeks after they released him, he plotted and planned this. So
And I was, well, I guess cause he committed suicide, but what was the reasoning like for it? Or he just had like a
he
issue or
couldn't
something?
take, yeah, he was definitely mentally ill for sure.
Yeah.
He had a track record. We didn't know about it, but his ex-girlfriend, he had kidnapped her, beat her up.
Mm.
We didn't know about it. He was just too upset that my sister was done with him. Like, my
Yeah.
mom had just bought this house. They were not even living there for 2 weeks, and she spent all this time. She finally had her own room, painting her walls, and she was done with him. And he just couldn't take that.
I see. I gotcha. Well, yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. I didn't know anything about this before hopping on. But so okay, and that was only what, like a year ago, or how long ago did you say that was?
6 months ago. So
Oh,
what are we in?
Oh,
Wait,
wow. Okay.
August, September, October, November, December, January. Okay, 8 months ago.
Okay, got it. So then I'm assuming, like, so from 8 months ago till now, like, was there, I guess, what was it like overcoming that? Like more of, because it seems like you came out stronger the other end. Obviously, not worth your two sisters, but I'm just saying, like, over 8 months, it seems. Did you kind of take a period off and just reflect, and then you kind of realize, like, shit, life is short. Like, I
To be
need to.
honest with you, yeah, like right now that I
Yeah,
just counted the months, I'm like, whoa, it's been 8 months. Like, I feel like so much has happened in these past 8 months. And like I said, in where I'm at in my life right now, I've put myself in a position. It might be subconsciously that I did this, but I put myself in a position that I'm booked every day.
mm-hmm,
I've put myself in a place that I only have time to like think about the positive, think
for
about my
sure.
daughters, and remember my sisters in the light. Obviously, I still get sad a lot, grief comes in waves, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm still overcoming it. It hasn't even been a year, you know.
Totally.
Um, it's still fresh for me, but it did give me that fire, and that's what I was explaining. It's like it it created a fire in me that it's like, no, the time is now, because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And like, I even have that perspective, like when I'm meeting people, and like now it's like if I like somebody and like I feel good around that person, I'm just like going to take an opportunity and try to be around the person, not like, beat around the bush and play any type of mind games. I'm just being straight out and forward with people out in business. I got to take every shot, and I'm going to miss every shot that I don't take. So
100%.
that it definitely does do that to you. It just gives you this fire, and it's like, I gotta go because I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow.
100%. Yeah. That's actually kind of like one of the reasons I do this podcast, because I'm just a people person. Like, I love connecting with people. And there's something about like an interview style where, like, say if we met for coffee, like we would connect, but I don't know if we would get into as deep of questions as you get into on a podcast. I don't know what it is about a podcast, but maybe because it's recording or something, but it like opens you up more than like a normal conversation in the beginning, at least. Right. Obviously, when you become closer and closer and closer with somebody, I think conversations in private end up becoming deeper than a recorded conversation. But either way, I don't know, just an interesting observation. um, so, okay, so modeling and then music, and then what was it that got you into the weed industry and CBD? Like, or like why did you think that would be a good idea, I guess, is a question.
Well, like a lot of other cannabis brands and companies, it started in the streets. So, I've been on my own since I was 14 years old. So as I, got older and became professional and got into the actual industry, TV and internet and stuff, like a lot of my fans were like, when the weed thing started to come out. So Wiz came out with his. So then people were like, you should come out with your own strand. You should come out with your own strand. I
Mm-hmm.
actually I have a song that I haven't released, but I have a police recording. So that's like gonna go into a song, but this was all stuff, as a kid, things that I got into, before that I was professional and doing things the right way.
For
So
sure.
that's how it started. Like, people just kind of always knew me to be around it.
Yeah, I feel it. When I was younger, well, similar in some ways, but obviously, I'm assuming the person that you ran over is okay
It's
now.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I
yes.
was gonna say, I was like, I feel like that was a good ending, but I might as
Yeah.
well ask. Um, okay, so 14 though. So I didn't realize that. So 14, you're on your own. I guess, are there any stories that like come to mind? Like, if I were to ask you like one or two wild stories when you were younger. Obviously, that was a pretty wild
Well,
one,
that
but
was definitely one. That was very one.
yeah, yeah, I
But
was gonna say that's a good one.
honestly, like I have so many stories, and that's why I was really inclined to do this. Because one of my dreams as a child was I always wanted to go back and write a book. I just know
Mhm.
that, my chapters aren't done being written. So
Mhm.
like even last year with what happened with my sisters, like I just never imagined that this would be one of the chapters that I write, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, my first fight, I was like 10 years old, right? And the girl that I fought, she's my sister. She's my best friend to this day. We're not like related by blood, but she's been my best friend and we've known each other since we were 9 years old, right? But she
Mhm.
was my first fight, right? And I'm after school, and there was like these girls that were older. They were in high school, so they're across the street, and I'm hanging out with them. And the girl, she comes. Susan, her name is Susan, but they used to call her Mama. You know, she was like the ghetto girl that everybody like respected. They're like, "Oh, it's Mama." So Mama, she come over to us. She's like, "Am I allowed to curse?"
Yeah, yeah. Anything goes. You're good.
Sure. All
I'm
right.
sure. Yeah, I think so.
What you doing talking to this puss asshole?
Okay.
She about to get her ass whooped. I said, if somebody's gonna get their ass whooped, it's not gonna be me. And I remember that because my mom had said that to me, like of a story from her school. But so I remembered it and I plugged it in, trying to be slick, you know. We go to fight in the neighborhood, but I'm an athlete, you know, like I'm cross country runner. This is easy. This is a walk in the park. Beam, beam, beam. She's bleeding. She goes, walks away. She's like, let me taste that blood. She wipes her face, tastes her own blood, goes to her book bag and takes out a knife. We're 10 years old, okay?
Oh
She
my
takes out a
God.
knife and starts chasing me with a knife. And she's like, I'm finna shake this hoe. I'm like, this is my first fight. Is anybody gonna take the knife? I'm running. We're going in circles. But yeah, that was my first fight. She tried to shank me.
That's wild. 10 years old.
Yeah.
Cross
Yeah. We're
country
we're we're
came in
best
handy.
friends to this day. Like we laugh about it sometimes still too.
Yo, no lie. Here's my suggestion for your book. You should start, and I'm sure you have some other amazing stories, but these are the ones that I know. For this story, if you started off the book just like mid scene, like that would draw attention. You know what I mean? Like it's like you like start off with that. She tastes her own blood. She goes to her backpack, and like, and that's like where it starts, right? That's like the scene. That would be awesome.
Oh my God, that's a good
I
idea.
I can't believe 10 years old. That's so wild. Was it like a legit knife or like a butter
No,
knife?
it was a real knife.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
wild. 10?
And I'm like, why does she even have that?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay,
Like,
maybe yeah, from the kitchen,
we're
a
over
butter
here
knife.
planning fights by the tree. Meet you at the tree after school. You're bringing
Yeah.
knives. Damn.
Yeah. We're having a picnic today, motherfucker. Okay.
Shit.
Okay, that's cool. Wow, that's wild. Okay. So so that's an amazing story. Honestly, yeah, I want to do more of those then maybe at some point. That's cool. So then what was with the CBD and the weed business, what really, I guess, what was the accelerator, do you think? Like, so you start off, how did you market it is actually the question to grow it to what it is now? Cause I know that's like a big, in your profile on Instagram, that's kind of like that's the main thing. It seems like.
Well, I think that it kind of sells itself. Me
Mhm.
being a female with the followers, the look, I do music, but the fact that I have that's what I represent, and I'm not like, it's not ordinary. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So like when people see that, it's kind of like, well, it's a no-brainer. We want to bring her to this weed show. We want to bring her to this convention. We want her to show up at this pop-up shop. Um,
Got it.
and again, every time I'm given an opportunity, I take it. You know, sometime like in the beginning, like especially when I just first started doing music, you know, if they said that I could come and perform at a High Times Cup, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there. So, I was just always trying to be at anything that can help sell my brand. You know, if my brand can be a part of it and I can just come up and show face and sell my products, I'd be there.
Got it. And I think I saw on your Instagram, because today, you're coming back you live in Vegas, right? I think
No,
is,
I live in Boca in Florida now.
oh, you're back here. Oh,
Yeah,
cool. All right. What's up, neighbor? All right. You're right up north a little bit. It's good.
yeah.
um, so but on the 17th, I think, or there's some sort of event I saw. Is that is it related to that in a sense? Like is it like a pop-up event? Or you probably
Well,
do it.
actually, the 17th, I think that's at Take One Lounge in Miami.
Oh, okay. I actually don't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strip club nightclub. So I
Okay.
get booked a lot as like the hip hop artist. So
Got
they'll
it.
book me to like perform or book me to walk through. And basically it's a nightclub. I just show up to the club. They give me a section, they give me bottles, they pay me to come. You know,
Oh,
I'll bring
cool.
all my friends and just have a good time. And it promotes the club because if people see that I'm gonna be there, people that are my fans or maybe guys that want to see me, they
Totally.
come book tables and we'll pack the club out.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And yeah, you have a good amount of followers as well, so that all makes sense. I thought because I saw in one of your interviews that you were still in Vegas, so I was just like, oh, she'll be in Miami, but we're neighbors, so
Hmm.
sometime. um, okay, cool. And then I guess really the next question is like, where are you? What's the overarching goal? So modeling music, which by the way, I think it was your last song I listened to before we hopped on. It's called "In My Feelings." Is
No,
that?
that If You Let Me is my last song.
Oh, okay. In My
But in my
Feelings
feelings, okay.
was pretty. I like that song. That one has a lot of soul in it, is what I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one's good.
I actually shot the video in it as a dedication to my sisters.
Oh, really?
So it promotes domestic violence. There's a tribute to my sisters at the end of the video for that song.
Okay, that makes sense
Mhm.
because like when I was waiting for you to come on, I was listening to that and then I didn't get all the way to the end, so didn't see that part.
Yeah.
But the overarching goal, like where are you trying to go with everything? Is it like these three pillars: modeling, music, and then weed industry, or is there anything else on the forefront that you're trying to do?
Oh, I'm a hustler. So
Yeah.
if I'm ever presented an opportunity to make money, I'm gonna take it. So
Hmm.
I'm licensed in the state of Florida in real estate. Um, I flipped my first house at like the age of 21. I made like 115,000 on the first house that I got. So I kind of always liked real estate. I like playing with money. I like investing. Um,
Hmm.
PFDs or PFRs, purchasing future revenue. I'm into that
Hmm.
too. So I'm always opening like different horizon stuff. I really want to open a juice bar and a hot Pilates down here. Oops,
Hmm.
can you see me? Okay. I
Yeah,
really want
yeah,
to
I can
open
see.
a raw pressed juice bar and a hot Pilates down here. I've always been into fitness. Me getting into modeling at first, I was a fitness model. I was
Okay.
most athletic in the yearbook in school. So people have always been inclined to want to work out with me. How do you, look like this? How do you get your abs like that? And then I like, healthy juices and I like eating good. So
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I don't know Boca too well, but in Miami, that would definitely do well. There's I don't have you ever heard of Pura Vida before?
I feel like I ate there last night.
Oh, really? It's so good. If you did,
Yeah.
you
Because
probably
I was down there in
okay.
Brickell, like by the beach.
Okay, that makes sense. You probably did. They're blowing up down here. It's just, I don't know. They have juices. It's really good. um, so yeah, what I want to do, I want to leave it to you. If there's anything, obviously we could talk about like your stories growing up and everything forever. But if there's anything you want to share, please do. And then also, where can people stay connected with you, like socials, website, and anything else as well?
Well, for those of you that don't know and are not already following me, please follow me on all platforms at Jasmin Cadavid, at JasminCadavid. You can go on the website, the Jazzy CBD, THEJAZZY CBD.com. On this website, you have all of your needs in flower, vape, edible, Delta 8 form, CBG form, and CBD form, pre-rolls, hash, keef, anything that you can imagine. It's on the site. We wholesale everything and we can ship it straight to your business or to your home, whatever you like to purchase. Also, Jazzy Rolling Papers are on the site. And I just dropped my song, If You Let Me. I've got an EP coming up June 15. It's called Chasing a High. And my single off of that is If You Let Me. I will be dropping the video soon. But make sure you go download and stream my songs on all platforms. I am positive and 100% sure you will like it. And just stay tuned and follow me for everything that I've got upcoming.
Perfect. And thanks for accepting the invitation to come on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.